Well, on a very conservative basis, we haven't had an official count, so, but on a very conservative basis, there's between 35 and 40,000 vehicles a year. That would include over 7,500 semi-tractor units.
We got traffic count. Some of those, 4th Street and.
Oh, I understand.
I understand down there in Eden Valley and
Eden Valley
and other roads
and
and stuff,
Radium
I'm sure,
Road.
yeah.
and There's a lot of them that have a lot of traffic.
Yeah, and I think if we did an official count, but I don't know, I think we wouldn't be as high as 4th Street.
Understand.
I understand. But there's significant traffic and there's a lot of truck traffic.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah, I understand there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah. But, you guys have to look at it however, I'm not familiar with that, you have to assess the value of it.
When you're talking about the elevators, the others wanting the
Yes.
same type of thing, if they meet all the requirements, the county they can only apply for 2 applications during the period of 1 year. But,
Well, this is just something that came up, when this was
Right.
talked about once before.
they have to meet the eligibility of the job creation or
I understand
retention
that.
and all of that.
How quick does the interest rate change? I mean, at 2%, I don't think that, does that change just varying?
What, you mean a varying rate? No, that's a set rate.
Well, I mean, does that 2% change very often? I mean, is this a good time to do this? I mean, I know some school bonds refinance
Yeah.
because the interest drops, I mean.
To my knowledge, it's been 2% for the last 2 or 3 years, I think.
It might have been 3%.
It might have been 3% just before that, but for an infrastructure project, that's,
That's pretty low.
The interest rate's really not a major factor in it, just really. 2% is such a negligible amount.
And I might say too, that in the application, there are financials and projections and various things that have to go in, so, we would, depending, we want to make sure all the expenses are allocated in the projections and that type of thing, so.
But I guess right now, you're wanting to see if we're receptive to it here as a county and said,
Well,
there's a lot of variables. We got all these other things to work out yet. I mean, yes, it'd be fine if we could cover all these other bases where they weren't being liable and we weren't gonna be liable and
Yeah, I wanted them here to, to explain, I mean, they know more about the program and give you some assurance that you're not liable for repayment of the debt. And I guess if that's an issue, we could pay it up front, but we'd rather not.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So the other thing is the application timelines that we have, the CDBG grants, we can submit those on a monthly basis, the first Friday of each month. For the EDA though, those federal funds, we need to apply as quickly as we can because a lot of those projects, they look at them in December and January and then they're funded by February. And a lot of times they use up a great deal of their money just with those applications. So if we wait too awfully long, we may have to wait for the 2010.
one might ask the township interested in looking into it further.
Do you guys want the road or not? I mean,
It's a township.
whether it's township or not,
I understand.
you guys are gonna be taking care of it.
There is,
Well, it's gonna be, I said, there's some issues to work out as far as maintenance.
Right.
And just a little side note, our 5-year plan has been extended to a 10-year plan as far as the state funding on the 19 and all that. Wasn't some
No,
of
it's
that
still,
delayed, or was that?
it's still called a 5-year
It's still,
plan.
but it's the next 5 years, or?
So, oh, yeah, you
And-
update it every 5 years, but the Federal Highway Trust is in such
Oh, that's,
a big mess right now. I mean, they are not meeting their obligations for funding right now. And I don't think this would come into the 5-year.
No,
plan
but I'm
anyway.
just saying that there are some roads that we had to delay resurfacing or sealing or something this year because of the price of the.
We had to
road
pull out
oil.
the 4th Street project because it was, and that was early when that projection was made, it was 1.4, and I'm sure it would have been way higher than that by the time it was ever let for contract. And that was just a 2-inch override. And the last I saw, oil was, road oil was like $700 a ton. Now, it should come down, but will it come down as fast as crude oil? No. Because there's been a shortage of asphalt-based product anyway to begin with. So it's,
This, you think we should go, Joe?
Well, again, the question is, can anybody tell you with any confidence what maintenance costs will be on this 1.5 miles? Because it's not like we're talking about our typical blacktop road that's gonna obviously have more and heavier truck traffic.
It still wouldn't be much different than 281 because most of these trucks come up and back and forth on 281. Other than the fact that they should be going slower on this road. That's half of it there, the speed that they get to going on the roads.
I don't know, I've got 1.5 miles or 1.25 miles east of Hudson
That can be.
that crude oil goes into, and they drive,
Yeah.
they're up to speed.
Well,
with
that's the big
mile.
thing. Oil has been, we had when they were doing the Manura, I have the dubious honor of living by them. So I've lived by them since they were concepted, and you have, I mean, they deserve to get their manure out and stuff, but like all farmers, when they're hauling grain to town, well, let's put a little more on, we can get it by faster. Well, we have no base. That road north of that feedlot has had more rock and asphalt put in there, and you run a manure truck up there that is running overweight, and you've lost it. And it's been put there so much. And right now I'm going to have to go through a hole about that deep to get my corn out. And it isn't just because of them. It's the truckers. If you talk to the truckers, they don't want to drive that 2 miles because that makes 4 miles. If they're coming from Radium or Seward, they got to go 4 miles out of their way to get to the feedlot. So I don't think even if we fix the blacktop road that's going to change their mind, but it might. But these guys now have been spending money fixing a hole down there that I had a kid come up and say he drove through it with his 4-wheel drive and water was coming up over the hood. And necessarily not, I'm not saying it was their fault because there's tons of traffic that drives that road in front of my house. But still, I think it should be done, and I don't think the township, if it's going to be maintained, it has to be maintained by a man that knows how to maintain it. And he's got to check it every week, whatever you drive over. And you can't just wait 10 years and then try to maintain it. You have to maintain it to begin with. So if we do this, and I think it's a great idea if it works, if we can figure out the maintenance of it. And they deserve to have a good road going in, just like everybody else deserves to have a good road going in to their place. And so I think we probably should go ahead and check into it more, find out what the maintenance deal was. I personally think that the township shouldn't have anything. I mean, we're not educated enough to know the right thing to do. And if we would make one little mistake, then somebody could come in and say, okay, you got to do all this stuff. Where you guys have the people to get it done. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You just do it to him. And why should it go through us when we're going to be here? When something comes up, we say, oh shit, here we are. We're at your front door. And then you have to learn about it all from us, when it would be better if you were the ones to get it in the first place.
Are there people you work with that, let's say they put down a road that's suitable for this amount of truck traffic, are there people you know that could give you very rough estimates of anticipated future maintenance costs on a road like this? Right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a rough estimate, but yeah, they could probably do that.
I just wondered, might give us an idea before we get in this very far, what we might be talking about.
Yeah, I don't know how long most of them have been in place. I mean, I think a lot of them have been in 10 years, but I can talk to some people and try to get a rough idea.
I think we need to get some kind of an idea on this maintenance. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's.
I don't know
a bad
if somebody
idea.
like Venture or somebody would have any numbers on
Kirk
there.
and Marcus, got that?
Venture probably wouldn't because they're more into,
The construction,
yeah,
yeah.
they don't usually do maintenance like we do. I mean, the
Some
maintenance type
engineers
things
that
we
have
do.
done some road work.
But you mentioned 281, so this road would be comparable to 281 as far as the
Well-
base and the size
Well,
and
when
the
we
depth?
talked to Venture before, and this has been a number of years ago that I talked to, maybe 5 years ago. You know, they were talking about there have to be work with a base on it, and then they were talking about putting 12 inches of asphalt on the
I
road.
think
Probably
that
doesn't
happens.
sound too far out of reach.
I think that would happen.
So,
So I think it would be a road that's maybe comparable to 281.
Yeah, more than likely.
In most ways, yeah.
Maybe the state could give us some idea on the maintenance of the thing.
KDOT might have information.
well, my question is, wonder what the maintenance is on 281, a mile or so north and a mile or so south of your westbound road? You know, how much maintenance involved? And I'm maybe 5 miles, I don't know, I'm just saying, either side of that entrance, because the same number of trucks that go on the road into your place will either be going either north or south, correct?
Yeah, this road would have considerably less traffic, I would think, than 281, but that'd be
No, but what I'm
that'd be a
saying
place to start, yeah.
is the wear. So what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, you have the wear on your road,
Mhm.
okay, you look at the same type of wear is gonna be on 281 going into that
Right.
entrance.
That's
So
close.
the thing to look at is, okay, how much maintenance is involved in those 3 or 4 miles or whatever miles east
Yeah.
or west of, does that make sense?
That's-
How
Probably.
much maintenance is
Annual expense
involved?
on
Yeah,
The KDOT ought to be able to give you that.
I would think they'd have some numbers they should have a lot of experience level.
or at the intersection of 19 and 281. I'm just saying how much maintenance is involved in a road comparable to 281 is involved over,
A mile and a half period.
and how many years? How many years do you have to go in and put a sealer or whatever you do?
Yeah, and I think, as far as speed, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I think we want to have a speed limit on this road, whatever would be conducive to not tearing it up. I don't know what that is, but if it's 40 mile an hour or 45 or whatever, but.
Well, my suggestion to the engineer is put a 90-degree turn. Don't do a banker.
Oh, at the corner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. Well,
Maybe some
and you-
speed bumps.
Yeah. Well, you really can't have a bank turn anyway. because,
No,
I mean,
I
the
just-
road goes on
Yeah,
both directions.
I'm just
That
saying.
drive up costs your project pretty good, I
Huh?
guarantee you that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know.
if they knew they had to come to a right angle turn, they're gonna be slowing down.
Yeah, and there probably ought to be a stop sign there.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know about the traffic part to control it, but I think that'd be very reasonable.
I think this is what we need to do, is get some,
A little more
Some kind of
flexible
idea
plate,
what
to have an
the-
idea of what we're dealing with and what.
because I hate to step out here and say, yeah, we'll maintain it, and have no idea what that's gonna cost.
I understand that.
I can't
very
blame
much.
township same way, they don't,
Yeah,
they don't
can't.
cut their budget
I
down with any of them,
understand
so we all
townships,
need to be on the same playing field, what's gonna happen.
I guess as quickly as that can be done, we'd appreciate it, but I understand you need to do those things. Yes, appreciate it.
All right.
So are there gonna be any like deadlines to find what the county does for the township? Because I know the lady just said that money's gonna be going in February.
Well, yeah,
Well, sure, we have
this
something.
needs to be done
30
right
days
away,
or
I
something,
understand
like
that.
have some ideas,
You
projections.
know, sometimes you can't hurry KDOT either.
No, I understand that. I
We
understand
could get
that.
that information from KDOT.
Excuse me?
I said, how would you go about getting that information on KDOT in regards to 281 and the intersections or whatever?
Talking to their engineer, and then if,
And just to
And then
find
you
out
can-
what,
yeah. and then
how
you can-
often, how,
Phil?
If not the area, the sub-area engineer, and then the area
Yeah.
engineer, excuse me, I'll get it right here.
well, I mean, just
Yeah,
something like
but I
that.
mean,
I would think if you're
they've
gonna
got
build,
penciled out.
if you're gonna build a good road,
Oh, yeah. The first-
like 281 or Highway 50,
Phil, you could
Then
go over to them guys
10
with
years
the ward
from now, maybe
feeder.
there's a maintenance issue.
Yeah, I think on
Ward.
the front end, it's gonna be very
They've
light if
got-
I was gonna
Don't
guess.
they have
but,
blacktop going?
You know,
to the
but
north
you need to know what
ward?
it's gonna be someday.
You
Yeah.
gotta have
I
annual
went to
maintenance
half
on the
mile,
other
but-
ceiling or
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they
ceiling.
don't have that much traffic, and
Yeah.
isn't the
This
work
is
This is what
comparable
I'm
to this
saying,
side
we
of
need some
Seat
kind
Dock,
of ring to
the Golden
know
Builders?
what this is gonna be, and who's gonna.
Yeah, I
do it.
understand that, yeah.
So,
Appreciate you looking around.
But that might be to talk to them guys over there at Larder.
How long would it take?
I assume. It goes off 19 Highway.
Go.
Some sort of date.
Just so how long?
I mean, you know, I'm just
What's
thinking
this
of
guy think?
Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything.
I know, it's a bad time of the year.
Oh, I would think.
Ron Carr,
Yes, could have some
how,
here.
what's your
back
size
in the
toward
few
Ward
days.
Feed Yard?
Could you get that?
The size of your feedlot toward
Very
Ward Feed
short
Yard?
time here?
We're larger.
Okay.
Well, they would be one because they come off the highway. And they've
Yeah.
got a, you know, I mean, yes,
Pawnee
they're
County might have some numbers.
Pawnee
Yeah.
County.
That's right, on the road going toward Feed.
On maintenance and stuff, you've got two over in Pawnee County that go off main highways.
Edwards County, we have a 2-mile county blacktop going to the yard at Edwards County. Our yard there, that yard is a little bigger than this, but they might have some numbers also. And I know that road's been there a long time.
Would you mind checking, Phil, to see
Yeah, I'll
what
just
some of
phone
these?
calls.
In fact, they're going to resurface that next year, but I don't know how long it's been since they've done anything major.
That one south of Sylvia, that's a pretty small lot, yard in it.
But our Kinsley yard's 30,000 head compared to 26.5 here, and I don't know on wards, I think it's a little under 20.
I don't know.
I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
But they're comparable in
Yeah, we
size.
have-
Well, I'm just saying, they've had blacktop
That's
running
fine,
into
yeah.
their
Yeah,
lots.
that'd get us
Good idea.
somewhere to
think-
start.
So maybe Pawnee and Edwards County, either one would be two that I know
Okay.
Think a week?
of.
2,
When does the commission next meet?
every Monday
Everybody
morning.
morning.
Oh,
No,
every
every
Monday.
Monday.
Would it be unfair to ask if you might be able to do something in 2 weeks, or see if we can, what we can find out?
Sure, you can find some information, at least have something
Yeah.
to go on.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
do that, but at least know what to expect as far as maintenance.
Yeah.
What to build into it, we need to build something into the contract or whatever.
So that'd be the 1st of December?
All I was thinking was, is that way then, you know, if you do decide that
You
we
can start
can
the-
do
start the
this,
wheels
then
rolling.
we would have 3 weeks or so
And,
to get the applications in.
and the whole thing is contingent upon the grant.
Right.
Right.
Sure. You know, it isn't a done deal.
No.
No. Yeah, that's true.
And we're looking at 2 grants, so that
Right.
has to be
Yeah.
approved by 2 different entities.
And it'd probably take, how many months for the engineering report?
Well, that's gonna take some time. I mean, we originally went through, everything would have to go pretty well to have construction next summer.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd have to go pretty well.
I guess the thing is too, is, you know, if they're receptive, and we understand, you know, it's gonna take a while on this maintenance stuff, but would it be feasible for them to go ahead and contact an engineer to start working on some of this information too? Because we're gonna have to kind of know what, you know, Okay, yeah, we
You
need
have
to
to
know what
fill
we're
it.
gonna maintain, but what are we gonna maintain, you know?
Well, we ought to look at, yeah, we ought to, I think we probably need to wait the 2 weeks and get, get back with you, or if you want us to come, if there's anything you need from us, I'll be glad to try and provide it for you.
Sounds fair.
Okay, appreciate your time.
You bet. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody that came.
It sounds awful, $1 million mile, but I can believe it because we should be lucky to do it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Keep hitting that thing, I'm sorry.
Aldridge, we made them put up an escrow account of $500,000. Boy, that thing's gonna be huge, because all it needs is one bad driver just to kind of get over too far and just crumble up the edge of that line.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna say $1 million a mile is not hyperbole, I mean, it should be closer to 2 now. And it's just amazing.
Well, do you have anything, Joe, this morning? You have anything else?
Everything's nice and quiet from my perspective. Now, our county treasurer wants me to do a tax foreclosure sale, but I'm gonna crunch numbers and make sure we don't spend money unnecessarily. I figure we probably ought to have about $50,000 in unpaid taxes that issue, because when you start factoring the cost of legal publications, you're spending a couple $1,000s right there. So I'm gonna crunch numbers and gonna wait until after the first installment is due in December. Oh, because that'll, tell you, you want to wait until the property's a good 3 years tax delinquent, otherwise you get people running.
I claim a homestead exemption. Homestead says you have to be 3 years tax delinquent.
Yeah.
So
Okie doke.
that's, you will see a resolution, from me, hereby authorizing tax foreclosure sale. If the numbers, bear out.
It's don't says spending more than what you're gonna receive on the tax.
Well, if you try it, it's creative.
Well, wait till you have
Every
enough property to
two
do it.
years, but then it gets a little tad expensive. Again, the official county newspaper just loves it.
Wait till I see that.
Okay. Anything else,
I
anybody?
have nothing.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.